we're back with more questions off the internet. This is a viewer submitted question from a guy named Dabi or Dab or something. I don't know. Unclear.
DAB.
If anyone else out there has any exciting questions for a future episode, they could send it to us at totl@abyssheadphones.com.
TOTL.
Yeah, so this one reads, why are there so few audiophiles in comparison to normal listeners of music? If hi-fi music is way better, wouldn't other music lovers want to experience music in such great quality? And that's a fair question.
You would think.
Yeah, so if hi-fi is so great, why isn't everyone a hi-fi enthusiast?
That's a good question.
Well, I guess it goes for anything.
Yeah.
Why isn't everybody an automotive enthusiast?
Right.
If driving nice cars is better, right?
Yeah. Why doesn't everyone have L glass?
Here we go.
Yeah, it's like that. There's obviously a few factors. The first and foremost for most people is just cost, right? It costs more to care about something usually than to not. Most people, they get the $3 earbuds or whatever that come with their thing. They don't care. And if that works for you, well, it's cheaper.
Organic eggs are 3 times or so the price or more of,
Yeah.
of any old egg off a chicken.
Food can get very expensive, and it serves, well, the same purpose as cheap stuff. You
We
could
just
go to
finished.
get
sorry.
a $1 burger somewhere from a fast food place.
Yeah. Versus, organic beef. So I guess price definitely is a factor.
Price is a big
Huge
factor.
factor.
I think for most people, that's one of the biggest because you have obviously finite resources. Irrespective of income, you have finite resources, and it's just a question of whether or not you choose to spend some of those resources on something that you do or do not care about. And for most people, they prioritize the things that they care about first. So a lot of people aren't concerned about cars, so they don't spend $1 million on a car, and they can't afford it either way.
I know I wouldn't.
Right.
Maybe $100,000.
If it gets them where they're going, what's the difference?
Yeah.
And I guess it's the same thing with hi-fi.
Well, and you might not even know that better stuff exists.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably don't know that there's $100,000, $200,000 speakers out there.
Probably not.
Right.
They were never introduced to the lead.
Right. But, I mean, from like an enthusiast perspective, you're like, of course this stuff exists, right? If
Yeah.
you know all about it. But it's not like public knowledge that this stuff exists.
Yeah, so I guess we should look at this. First of all, I guess let's ignore price and say, okay, let's pretend that you have plenty of money.
Yeah.
And that money is not a factor. Therefore, how come you don't know? So what you brought brings us to what you just said. It's education. They weren't aware that this existed. So if you don't have a local high-end shop or something to experience this stuff, I guess you'd never even look for it.
Yeah, but even past that, even if you had a high-end shop near you,
We still got to go.
you got to go there. You got to know
Oh,
it
that's
exists.
true.
You got to care enough.
That's true.
Right? There's a lot of people have high-end sports car dealerships near them, but most people don't go by and look, except for the people that care about cars
Right.
or find these things interesting. A
I
lot
thought
of people,
everybody-
they just get some random car and they're not worried about it. They just, I like the way this looks. That's it. That's the end of it, right?
Don't-
They don't go read 500 reviews.
Don't all guys care about cars?
Well,
No,
Not everyone.
no, they
maybe
don't.
more than average, but
Well, if you look at what average people buy, the answer is no.
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people just get whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
Whatever's easy, whatever's available, whatever they have experience with, whatever their family has had good luck with.
Well,
or
especially if
whatever
you
they
got
have
kids
direct
bouncing
firsthand.
around the seats and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. That is a bit of an issue. You're not going to
Yeah.
get a Ferrari and throw your kids in the back.
Well, you could.
Some people do that.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
But it comes down to priorities, yes.
Yeah, but I think this is a very subjective thing, like hi-fi tends to be, because of course hi-fi can get vastly superior audio fidelity than standard, cheap, whatever garbage stuff that you get included in the box with like a audio player or whatever. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's desirable for people. Some people really just, they're not bothered by that differential. They don't see the value in it because to them, it doesn't matter how they listen to music. It won't make a difference to them.
Actually, I think there's value in it. I think that they're just not aware of it. They don't see it because they're not looking for it.
Of course.
There's plenty of parallels, I guess you think of it. Like, for example, I remember a number of videos back, I was complaining that I always wanted to make a company where everything had a lifetime warranty type thing, right? Which, technically speaking, would probably fail because
That's a problem.
you can't really have lifetime warranties and expect to survive forever, because at some point it's going to catch up to you 20 years later. But anyway, my point being is that I was like when you guys were young about toilet seats and how shitty they were in terms of lasting and all that stuff. And but the thing is, fast forwarding to like the last year or so, like I didn't even think to look for a high end toilet seat myself. And lo and behold, like Toto makes $1,200 toilet seats.
That
You
they
know,
do.
the full car wash function and all that stuff. But the point is I never thought to look at that. And there's shades in between. Of course, they make $300 and $500 models, but you got to be looking for it. And so yeah, like you said, you know, if you're just used to just listening to audio the way it is, and that suits you, then and you're not looking for it, then it's not going to hit you in the face.
And even beyond that, I think so many people are so focused on things that are pretty isolated from hi-fi or high-end audio that to them it just doesn't feel like a useful it doesn't feel like a reasonable amount of effort to put in to consider these things. It just seems like irrelevant or not going to enhance their life in a meaningful enough way that they choose to spend time or money on it. Because in your toilet seat example, if someone told you 10 years ago that you could get a $1,300 toilet seat, would that have been a profound statement? Like where you could be like, you know what, I'm going to go get one.
Well, I don't know if the price would have
Probably
mattered,
not,
but
right?
it comes down to feature sets, really. It's like, okay, what features do I need, and do I really need the $1,300? I would have looked into it. You know, it's kind of
Depends
like
on the person.
It's kind of like the story once where I was sitting next to a gal on a plane once, and she had these cheap earbuds, and using them. So
Yeah.
you could do. She worked for a living. She was sales. She traveled. She obviously had a pretty good income. And I said, you could do better than that. It would probably be better for your ears. You're using this all day long, right? You could actually hear clearer and probably have a better fit, for the in-ear she was using. She said, oh, I didn't even know that existed. I said, well, yeah. I said, you could spend thousands on IEMs. And she didn't even know the term. But the point is that she wasn't aware of it. She was good with the $30, $50, whatever buds. And, now that I told her about it, hopefully she looked into it and realized that, I could spend a few hundred and really enjoy this while I'm flying.
Yeah, I think places like Magnolia Theater and Best Buy, like people that normally wouldn't like look at higher end stuff, they would like wander in there in their Best Buy and actually have some experience of higher end stuff that's like not just the stuff they normally have in a Best Buy.
Yeah.
So like actually having a place people would normally go to, like,
mass market,
start to experience higher end stuff, maybe get them interested in it.
The main thing there is like TVs. I think like people go there and it's visual. You can actually see. I would hope at least you go to look at the Westinghouse screen versus a baller 8K Sony or an LG or screen, and it's like, whoa. I mean the demos are probably way better at the Sony section, but the thing is the colors really pop. But some people, I guess maybe they don't notice. I don't know.
Some people don't notice.
Yeah.
And to some people, it doesn't really make a difference. They just would never spend that amount of money. But I think having the example of the thing in front of you is very helpful, because there's no doubt it's an education thing. There's plenty of people out there that would be interested in hi-fi, but they probably don't even really know it exists. They probably don't think it makes as big of a difference as it does. So having not heard it or experienced it, it can be difficult. You wouldn't think that that's something that you're going to be too keen on, but until you try, you don't necessarily know. And I think beyond that, a lot of people just feel so busy that it just doesn't feel like a priority to them. They may not know whether or not they're actually going to get something out of it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's also a use case situation. Like a lot of people, they just want background music. They're not like listening intently.
All right.
So to them, a little background
They're not
music.
audiophiles.
Right, yeah. It's like, anything in the background is fine,
Yeah, well, if you're just playing workout music at the gym, you're probably not going to get into super high-end
you're
stuff
not
to bring to
focused
the
on the
gym with
music,
you, right?
yeah.
It's a different situation. The music just exists, and you're not that worried about it. So it really depends on the use case. We've talked about this before, but there certainly are a lot of situations where the fidelity is not super important. It only really matters when you care and you're sitting down for critical listening, which that's a pretty wide audience for sure. But to some people, that never really happens. They just don't have the time. So if you're looking in an absolute sense, all the people that exist, why don't all of them get in the high end? Well, it's just like anything else. Why isn't everyone else driving around in multi-$100,000 cars? Clearly, there's limitations.
Yeah.
Some people just don't care,
It's
and some
usually
people
money.
can't afford it.
It's usually monetary.
Right.
But again, we did talk about that not too long ago, where you could save for these things.
Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of like how, like, why isn't everybody into like high-end cameras? Well, it's because your phone is good enough now. You know, you don't even need. You're like, I'm satisfied with this performance.
It's pretty true.
Yeah.
Good
you could
enough,
get better
right?
cameras, obviously, but they're bigger, they're heavier, they cost more. So,
Well,
there's
then
always
you're
downsides.
usually not carrying them around with you all the time like your phones.
I used to look forward to the latest and greatest DSLRs, and but yeah, now it's like the phone does such an automatic job of it.
And you have it with you. Man.
Yeah, it's just
That's the
too
case
simple.
for most people. Because before, phones were terrible cameras.
Yeah.
In the early days, they were horrific.
no
640 by
autofocus.
480,
Yeah.
no autofocus. Everything was always, it looked like you had like Vaseline on the lens.
Looked like a 1960s
Terrible.
postage stamp or
Yeah,
something.
no dynamic range. Colors were horrific. But now it's at the point where, for the most part, a cell phone does the job people expect. It takes the picture they need. They don't need better than that. They really don't. So better is better, but if it doesn't provide value to the person, they're not going to seek it. And that seems to be the reality for a lot of people with whatever audio system they have. It does their job. So
You hit a point of contentment.
Yeah, right.
It's like, so
Until-
you don't even look. You're not even going to
until
look.
you learn otherwise, I guess.
Well, you need to run into like a wowed situation where you're like, you
Yeah.
experience something. You're like, wow, I never even thought that this
That's
could
what
be this
friends
good.
are for.
Well, yeah.
I'd like to see some data on that. That would be interesting to know how many people, if given the opportunity, if presented with a really high-end system, would actually try to seek it out.
Yeah. Because
Because
store owners would know that.
you got to imagine so few people experienced it. And you look at like a global scale, what would be the percentage of people
The
that
high-end shops
listen
would
to
know that.
high-end?
The guys that have been
Yeah.
in business a long time, I mean, they would probably have a rough idea.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask a few of them. How many people walk in and are noobs at this, so
Yeah,
to
know
speak? They
nothing
don't-
about it.
Yeah, and then,
I'm
then
sure
just
it
go,
happens.
whoa.
and then
Like,
they wind up getting like a baller system,
Some people do that. You jump in all out right out of the gates, but
Yeah.
yeah, usually not.
I'm going to guess it's less than 20% or so. that
Oh,
people
yeah, I
walk
would
in,
think so.
you
I would
know?
think 5-10% maybe.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to hear.
Yeah.
People, now this is a bit of a bias if you're talking about a high-end shop owner, because these are people walking into a high-end shop.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Right.
obviously, they're not just the
They're
average
looking for
person.
something.
They're looking for something. Yeah,
Yeah.
they probably understand that this is going to be cheap. So, already you're picking a few out of the top. But still, it'd be interesting to see if that's like 10%, 5, 10%, 20%.
Well, we've hung over at like Speaker Shop here in Buffalo once in a while, and
It seems like everybody
and
is already
they have
in
pretty
it.
good traffic flow on the weekend, like on a Saturday, and they're usually kind of busy. And you do see a mix of people coming. You got the regulars coming
Yeah.
in that they're just looking to hang around and see what's new, and maybe they'll buy it. And got some people coming in, but other people coming in, they don't even know. You could tell they just have no idea. They're lost sheep.
Yeah.
Like,
you can
I've
tell
been to Best
immediately.
Buy, and like
Yeah.
I don't even know, what I want type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know
Nope.
what any of this is.
Yeah, so they're looking for a second opinion, so to speak.
Yeah.
So they went
but
into this high-end shop, which is a good idea.
how many stores have you passed by and never been in?
Well, yeah.
Right? There's plenty of stores you have no interest in. And for some people, I'm sure it's like that. They know it exists, they see it, they don't really understand what that means or whether or not it would have value for them.
Yeah, I tend not to hang out in like Neiman Marcus or something like that. Not that we have them around here,
We do not.
but yeah.
Well, there's
agreed.
plenty of stores. You're not going to go in like a beauty salon type store too frequently and go look at the
Yeah. Curling
comb
irons.
sections and curling irons or
They do have
something.
some baller curling irons, man. You look at this. It's like, who engineered this? Looks like it'll just cook your hair.
But that's a totally different market, right? And
Yeah.
of course, there's always a person that this device is geared towards, and high-end's the same way. But you got to be receptive to it, and it has to be affordable to you. So unfortunately, that massively limits the audience. And I think most people in high-end, believe it or not, want to make their products as affordable as possible. Most people really do. It's for some reason a lot of people think that the goal is to drive the prices up, but the goal is to make good audio as affordably as possible. At least most people feel that way. So unfortunately, it's very hard to make it the most amazing thing ever for $2, but things are getting better and the prices are coming down for equivalent hardware.
Well, there is another thing with like any niche kind of like hobby, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
You're in like a bubble, and everybody you talk to, they all know about it. So you just assume everybody knows that this is a thing,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
So you're in your own little bubble, and I know car enthusiasts are definitely
Same
like that.
way,
They think,
yeah.
oh well, everybody wants something that's
Yeah.
like, you know,
PC enthusiasts, same way
thing.
computer
but
enthusiasts.
the thing is, you're such a small percentage of the total market that it's actually not the case that everybody knows.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
so you just get in a little bubble echo chamber of your own community.
It's so easy to get frustrated when you see someone talking about something and it's just total nonsense. They clearly don't understand.
I guess the
But
advantage
most people
cars
don't.
have is they're on the road.
Well,
you can
everybody,
people
yeah,
can
a lot of
see
people
them.
have 'em.
You see 'em a
Any
lot.
layman can see a car. Go, whoa, what's that?
Yeah.
You know, where this stuff,
Yeah.
audio, is kind
They
of
don't see
hidden away in a
people's
room somewhere in somebody's
two-channel
home.
system in their house.
High end especially.
Yeah.
Now there is the flashier stuff. Like obviously there's cars kind of geared around looking cool, and people buy them just because of that, just so other people see, wow, you have this cool car.
All sports cars look cool, don't they?
Well, no.
Not always. They're not always purposely designed to be flashy. Obviously, there's more understated cars and some a bit more flashy. But audio's the same way.
The Cybertruck was a bit of a slap in the face because
Cybertruck's kind of do
at
something.
first just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, once those hit the road, I
Yeah.
don't
I
know
mean,
what's
that's kind
going
of
to
like
happen.
sports car meets pick 'em up truck
I don't know
From
what
the
that is.
future.
It's
from
a
the future.
a
Yeah.
future personnel carrier.
Like driving a moon rover or something
Yes,
with better
it's like that.
suspension.
But high-end audio, hi-fi, that kind of is, for the most part, hidden away. People don't really see it. And if people don't see it, they kind of don't know it exists. It's
Out of
not
sight,
something
out
they
of mind.
consider to purchase
Yeah.
if they don't know it exists.
So I think that's the biggest reason is beyond price is more or less just a lack of knowledge of that it exists. And that's what I found, I think, in experience and hindsight, looking back at all the people I've dealt with over the decades, it's pretty much the case. They just didn't know it existed.
Mhm.
They'd
Yeah.
come to me and go, I didn't even know you guys existed. Didn't know. And, it usually comes from somebody saying, hey, you should call so-and-so.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, audio is mainly word of mouth,
Yeah.
it seems.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty small market.
Maybe we should make a giant headphone and put it on our roofs of our car and drive around. Or better yet, maybe we should have headphone stickers that go on the window. Oh, you can't really stick things in windows of cars anymore, can you? They get mad about that.
We have those window clingy stickers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
The
we should-
smiley guy.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah, we should do that. Yeah, we should figure out a way to get that to everybody, I guess.
Everybody.
Put them in their car windows so people go, oh, what's that? It's headphones.
Hmm.
It says Abyss.
Everyone ever.
Yeah, we'll infiltrate the car market with our stickers.
Mhm.
And maybe we could get like Elon to put stickers in the windows.
Oh, yeah.
A little guy with square headphone with a square shaped headband. Yeah,
Just for fun.
Yeah,
I
just
don't
for
know,
fun.
that might be tough.
Yeah, that'll be difficult. Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching our blabber on this one. And as always, take care of yourselves. And remember, if you got any questions you want us to answer, TOTL@abyssheadphones.com. Thank you.